In this tutorial, I explain the first part to accurate cosplay pattern scaling to real life. Scaling is important for accuracy when you don't want a prop either too small or too large when you take pictures with your full finished cosplay project. If you get someone else's one-to-one scale pattern template, this may not fit your body size proportions as the original cosplayer created it for themselves. In some cases, you may even have a different height than the original character. I used two pieces of software. ImageJ, this is free for download and it works for Mac and Windows, and Adobe Photoshop, and there's a free version called Pixlr instead of Photoshop if you don't want to pay for it. How big or small should my weapon be in relation to myself compared to my original character reference? ImageJ is a free software I use for measuring objects in relation to the character. In other words, this tool helps you calculate a character's height pixels into a node length like your height in inches or centimeters, or however you choose. While Photoshop can be used to aesthetically calculate a prop's estimated scale, ImageJ will give you exact measurements. For the purpose of this tutorial, I primarily use inches. This method works best with flat images, but I'll show you how you can use a character's 3D model. First, let's install ImageJ. Search on Google for ImageJ and you will download the version appropriate for your operating system, Windows or Mac. Save the zip file to your computer. Once it's done, extract the contents of the zip file to your computer. Run the ImageJ program. Drag and drop your reference image into ImageJ or open it through the program. It is recommended that you use a picture of your character standing straight with a frontal view and not bent over in positions. The best kind of image would be character concept art if you can find it. The image file will open in a separate window. Click on the straight line tool. Using the straight line tool, set one point at the top of your character's head and one point at the bottom heel area. For flat images, this is straightforward. If you're using a 3D reference, you will take the center of the character's head as the top point and the middle of their heels which touch the ground. Now you will set this character's height to your height. Navigate to Analyze, then Set Scale. The known distance will be your height in inches, not feet for US cosplayers. You can set this to meters or centimeters for cosplayers using the metric system. Type your unit of length, inches, meters, or centimeters for your own reference. If you mess up, you can click on Click to remove scale to reset. Then click OK when you're done. Now let's find out how long the prop should be. Use the straight line tool again. Draw a line from the bottom to the top of the prop, or vice versa. Then click on Analyze, then Measure. A new window pops up and you will scroll to the right where it shows the length. Whatever you set in your units of measurement will be this result in the same unit. In my case, I set inches for my height, so now my prop result shows us about 36 inches. This is the length of my character's prop. Using this information, you can now use this as a point of reference when printing patterns and performing further visual scaling in Photoshop. This next part is optional, but it certainly helps. Adobe Photoshop can be used to visually scale yourself to the reference picture. I use this as a guide to map out all the different parts of the costume. I took a screenshot of my own pattern PDF to add. When scaling images in Photoshop, make sure to lock the proportions. For the layers, I generally set them like this. The bottom is the reference and set the opacity or transparency to about 50%. Layer 2 is the full frontal view of yourself. Layer 3 is the prop reference, and you can optionally set this opacity to 50%. Then add ruler guides. Align the top and bottom of the reference picture to your own body. This tutorial and pattern downloads are available on my website. Be sure to watch the next part of this tutorial in the link below.